Welcome to the White Knight Theater. The current situation is very unfavorable for us. The police have a large amount of physical evidence. O.J. Simpson was arrested just a few minutes ago. From a serology perspective, we found Simpson's blood in Nicole Brown's home on Bundy Drive. We also found Nicole's blood in Simpson's home in Rockingham. In Simpson's Mustang, we found blood from both Nicole and Goldman. The most watched dream team of lawyers in the United States has finally been formed, and the prosecution has assembled its strongest lineup for a decisive battle. If you want to understand the American judicial system, you need to start here. Produced by Himalaya, the 8th episode of the Chinese-American detective Dr. Lee's crime drama, The Formation of the Dream Team of Lawyers. Good afternoon. I am District Attorney Marcia Clark. Regarding the murder of Nicole Brown and Ronald Lyle Goldman on the evening of June 12, 1992, we will bring the following charges against Orenthal James Simpson. Simpson is charged with violating Penal Code Section 187 for the deliberate, unlawful, and premeditated murders of Nicole and Goldman. Marcia Clark, 41 years old, petite with short hair, is the District Attorney of the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. Over the past decade, she has not lost a single case as a prosecutor. In this male-dominated, predominantly white industry, Marcia, of Israeli descent, has earned considerable influence with her sharpness and bravery in the courtroom. She also smoothly became the lead prosecutor in the preliminary hearing. What evidence does the prosecution currently have, and is it convenient to disclose? From a serology perspective, we found Simpson's blood in Nicole's home on Bundy Drive. We found Nicole's blood in Simpson's home in Rockingham. In Simpson's Mustang, we found blood from both Nicole and Goldman. We will present this evidence to the judge and jury in the upcoming trial to prove everything. What about the Mustang chase? Does the prosecution believe that O.J. Simpson was fleeing from justice at the time? Are there plans to prosecute anyone else? At present, only Mr. Simpson is being prosecuted. He is the sole perpetrator of the murders. Is the prosecution considering proposing the death penalty? We are considering it. In the American judicial system, the role of the prosecutor is very important. According to the principle of he who asserts must prove, the prosecutor needs to collect a large amount of evidence and, like a general planning a battle, formulate the rhythm of using this evidence and the entire prosecution plan. For example, whether the prosecutor charges Simpson with first-degree murder or second-degree murder is a significant difference. First-degree murder could result in the death penalty or life imprisonment, while second-degree murder has a relatively shorter sentence. The main difference between the two lies in the motive. First-degree murder refers to premeditated murder, while second-degree murder refers to a crime of passion at the scene. In the Simpson case, Marcia's 2 charges of first-degree murder reflect the prosecutor's office's confidence in the sufficiency of the evidence. Therefore, when Marcia ended the press conference and returned to the prosecutor's office, she was greeted with applause and cheers from all her colleagues. Marcia's boss, the head of the district attorney's office, Jill, led the way in encouraging her. Together, a new star was born. Thank you all. This is just the beginning. With ample physical evidence and O.J.'s attempt to flee, O.J. has done a lot of work for us. Public opinion is now in our favor. Let's press on and get a guilty plea from O.J. No problem. I'm heading back to court. Don't you have a date? I canceled the date. Where's the fun in going out when you have a trial? Dr. Lee Chong-yu and the defense team members also saw the formal charges brought against O.J. Simpson by the prosecution on TV. At the same time, they learned another piece of bad news. The prosecution had already presented the Simpson case to the grand jury. According to the American judicial system, a grand jury consists of 6 to 23 ordinary citizens who only hear the prosecution's facts and basis for charging Simpson. The defendant and defense attorney are not present, so the defense attorney cannot cross-examine witnesses under the judge's supervision. This is the prosecution's best opportunity to convict Simpson. They do not have to present all the evidence, nor do they have to take special strategies to deal with the defense. They only need to do one thing: persuade the grand jury to accept the charges of 2 counts of murder against Simpson with all their might. For the defense, this is an unprecedented blow. In response, Shapiro's strategy is to use his extensive connections to hire the top criminal lawyers, experts, witnesses, and private investigators to try to bring the case back to the normal judicial procedure of the preliminary hearing. And to defend Simpson in the preliminary hearing stage, to try to persuade the judge to dismiss the charges. The first person Shapiro invited was Avery Belly, a successful white lawyer, and the two are very close friends. Belly is also the godfather of Shapiro's child. Belly has been practicing for over 40 years and is one of the top cross-examination experts in the American legal community. If he joins, it will definitely increase the chances of O.J. Simpson's defense. Belly, hello, Shapiro. How are you? I'm on vacation. Shapiro, yeah, I just bought a new yacht in Florida. Belly, 87 model, huh? Never mind that. How's it going? Shapiro, I just saw the news about O.J. They submitted it to the grand jury. Belly, what are you going to do now? Shapiro, we can still handle it for now. We're trying our best to investigate and find opportunities and breakthroughs. You know, I always give my best effort. Is there anything I can do for you? Belly, how long will it take you to get here? We have a meeting today, and we want to invite you to join this case. It's non-negotiable at this point. In just a few days, Shapiro quickly expanded O.J. Simpson's defense team. Shapiro also recruited DNA legal expert Barry Scheck, Harvard Law School professor, and forensic and autopsy expert Dr. Barton, among others, to persuade them to join this defense team. The media soon dubbed Simpson's defense team the Dream Team. According to experts' estimates, the total cost of maintaining this team is at least $6 million. Meanwhile, Simpson also hired several private criminal detectives to investigate the truth of the murder case and offered a $500,000 reward for anyone who provides clues that lead to the solution of the case. After the Dream Team was formed, the first full meeting of all lawyers was held. The current situation is very unfavorable for us. The police have a large amount of physical evidence, and it seems that all these pieces of evidence prove that it was O.J. who did it. Moreover, it now appears that publishing O.J.'s letter was a mistake. Many people took that letter as a confession. Ullman, you don't understand the situation at the time, Shapiro. We needed to divert attention from O.J.'s escape. It turned out to be useless. It was the best decision we could make at the time. I did my best, you know. Shapiro, I'm not questioning you, Marcia, but calling a grand jury in California means we have no chance of winning. Paris, you're familiar with DNA. Can you give us some ideas from that direction? In 1992, DNA technology had already begun to be applied in the investigation of criminal cases, but due to its low accuracy and complex operation, it had not yet gained recognition in the field of criminal investigation. Therefore, most police officers and lawyers were not familiar with the application of DNA evidence in criminal cases. Paris Scheck was the leading authority in this field in the American legal community. When he participated in the Simpson case, Paris was only 45 years old, but was already the head of the New York legal aid organization's Innocence Project, dedicated to helping innocent people who had been wrongfully convicted regain their freedom. In the following 2 decades, Paris used DNA testing and analysis as a weapon to win over 170 appeals, most of which involved black defendants. In Paris's view, when defense attorneys and prosecutors fail in their duties, DNA testing can bring justice and become a means of restoring the truth. Do any of you know much about DNA evidence? Paris, let's assume we know nothing. It's okay. Most people aren't familiar with it, but it's about to bring a big change to criminal law. In a few years, it will become crucial in cases without eyewitnesses. If O.J.'s DNA is found in the blood at the scene, can you find a way to prove that the DNA came from someone else? No. The chance of one DNA profile matching another is extremely small, about 1 in a billion. If it really comes to that, then perhaps O.J. should face the punishment of the law. After a brief silence, Lee Bailey spoke up first, breaking the awkwardness, and a new plan was born. But as long as the DNA doesn't point to O.J., I believe the prosecution might be at a standstill. We need to question every piece of physical evidence, how it was collected, transferred, and examined. As long as we can get to the preliminary hearing, I'm very confident that I can make the other side slip up in cross-examination and convince the jury to find O.J. not guilty. I know it's beautiful, but the problem now is how to get to the preliminary hearing. The grand jury is in favor of the prosecution. They won't let this opportunity slip. My suggestion is to use the media to our advantage and focus on the witnesses. We can keep an eye on the well-informed media to see who's feeding them information. Once the grand jury is convened, any prosecution witnesses with direct contact with the media could become our weapons, turning around to help us. If the prosecution witnesses sell their stories to the media for money before testifying, we can question the reliability of their testimonies. Then we can use the power of the media to our advantage, and we have a good chance of getting this case into the normal preliminary hearing process. Let's do it your way. I'll handle the media contact. Okay, how's the progress on the crime scene investigation? The photos from the crime scene have arrived, and Dr. Lee Chong-yu is leading a team of experts to analyze them. Dr. Lee hopes we can get the opportunity to inspect the scene, and there's a chance. I'll continue to pressure the police. They're about to give in. Let's split up and work on this. Soon after, the latest issue of the renowned American magazine Time was freshly printed and sent to newsstands across the country. This magazine, founded in 1923 and one of the three major factual weekly magazines in the United States, featured O.J. Simpson's portrait on the cover of its new issue. The cover photo was turned into a black and white effect, with Simpson looking stern and slightly pouting, appearing sinister and terrifying, completely opposite to the sunny and gentle image he usually displayed. Quickly, this cover sparked a new debate on various television media, with black and white experts attacking each other from their respective positions. The photo used light and shadow effects to make Simpson appear darker than an average black person, thereby increasing the visual effect of danger. This is blatant racism. Time wants to brainwash us into thinking that the darker the beard, the guiltier one appears, and black clothing means worse. Wait a minute. Isn't your interpretation of the cover also a form of racism? Soon, the famous black civil rights lawyer Johnny also joined the debate and was interviewed live in the CNN studio. I don't think Time's actions are malicious racism. It's a kind of inert thinking, a mindset more terrifying than discrimination itself. It reminds us that the situation for black people has become unbearable and black people must unite. Nothing is more important than this. With such a clear stance, it can be said that the black defense lawyer has shown his tough true colors. And on this highest-rated news talk show in the United States, the first question from the host Larry King was, "You're O.J.'s lawyer. What would you do?" This sentence seemed to become an implicit hint.